Finally, I get around to modding my Mobula7. Now it's a 2S whip, but you can also run it with 1S LiPo batteries as well. I prefer to use my UR65 or my Snapper 6 for flying around the house because they are both 1S whips. Now you can pick up the Mobula7 with different receivers. You can get it with Eversky, FlySky, DSM2 and DSM-X. I accidentally bought this with the wrong receiver in it, so I had to put my own in. I had to put the FlySky XM Plus, which is the non-EU version, and this one is the EU LBT version, which I did not want. It's sitting on top of the flight controller board with double-sided foam tape, and on top of the receiver is a buzzer which is sitting on top of that, again with double-sided foam tape. Now to bind it up, it's really easy for me. All you do is press and hold the bind button on the receiver, plug in the micro USB cable to your computer, turn on your transmitter. You can bind it up in D8 or D16, it's up to you. And after that, you can change your settings in Betaflight, and it's running Betaflight 3.5.0. Now, the main flight controller board is your Crazy Bee F3 Pro with built-in 5 each 4-in-1 ESC running BL Heli S and DSOT 600. The main motors are 08, 02, 16,000 kV brushless motors, and the props themselves are 40mm. I've got to say, this thing in its stock form had a lot of punch. It was really fast indeed. Now you do get extra props, a prop tool, extra screws, a USB charger to charge up your batteries, and the batteries that you do get, you get 4 of them in the basic package, a 1-cell 250mAh HV LiPo batteries with a pH 2.0 plug at the end. At the front here, as you can see, you've got an AIO 5.8 GHz 40 channel 25mW VTX with a 700 TVL camera, and the field of view is 120. It does come with smart audio, but only with certain receivers. You can check the link in the description below, which will take you to Banggood's website, and it will tell you what receiver smart audio is capable of running on. Now, the reason why I modded this was there was a couple of things I didn't like about it. Not only that, after my third flight, I crashed, and what happened was the frame had broke. And a lot of people say the frame is pretty rubbish. The stock frame is rubbish. But I did manage to repair it, and I thought to myself, no, as soon as I crash again, it's just going to break. So I decided to pick up the Betafpv 75mm frames, and you get 2 of them from Amazon for £10. And that's really cheap. And they came in this hard plastic container, which is great. But the only problem is you do have to mod it, because on the stock frame you can see the standoffs are really high, and on the Betafpv frame they're non-existent. You can't see them. You need to find a way to make them taller, and I'll show you how to do that quite shortly. Now, that's not the only thing I don't like about the quadcopter. Because it's a 2S quadcopter, you've got to run 2 separate LiPo batteries, and I don't like that at all. What you should do, in my opinion, is mark your batteries out and pair them up. You can even use stickers, say 1 and 1, 2 and 2, and so on, because the cell voltage will vary. I've just put 2 stripes on these batteries so I know which is which. And the other thing is, when you put it in the holder, what will happen is, in a crash, that's the wrong way, in a crash the batteries will pop out and rip the wires off your flight controller board and possibly fry your flight controller board, and you don't want that happening. What you want to do is get your main frame, put the batteries onto the frame, get center of gravity mark out with a Sharpie where centre of gravity is on the frame with the battery in the holder, and put a bit of Scotch tape around them. As you can see here, I've got Scotch tape around the batteries. Now the batteries won't slide out in a crash anymore, but you need to find out, well, you need to just keep wrapping tape around until you get enough tape so they don't push out and that. Sure, let's weigh the batteries up against the battery that I am using at the moment. 14 grams, let me try that again, 15 grams, because my scale is not the best. I'd take that as 15 grams against 18 grams. So there is 3 grams of a difference, and I do have a bit of Velcro on that. With an XT30 plug, it did come with a JST plug. I had to solder that on myself. And not only that, I don't like the sockets and the wiring to the quadcopter. It's fiddly and annoying, and they're just dangling down. And the pins inside them, they're the U-shaped pins, they're not solid, they've got a slit in them, which will cause sag. You won't get as much punch or flight time out of the quadcopter, and that's not good. You can, if you want to keep it stock, buy solid pins. These are the ones here. You can pick them up from Banggood. I'll put a link in the description below, and these are the solid pins. All you would need to do really is get a pin or just snip it. You don't even need to change the wire, and just solder it on to these sockets and that, sure, if you want to keep it stock. Okay, now I bet you want to know how I modded the Mobula7 to get into the Betafpv 75mm frame. Well, here goes. There's a little bit of Velcro underneath. Yeah, I found a little bit of Velcro today while I was trying to look for something to hold it on a little bit better. And I took the whole thing apart, and the battery as well is held on with Velcro, as you can see here. And what I did, you wouldn't believe it, I don't have a 3D printer, so I had to use my brains on this one. I placed the battery on top of the container which the Betafpv frames came in, and cut it out with an X-Acto knife, and I sugared that bit of plastic onto the bottom. After you've snipped this off, you snip this top bit off, I sugared the bit of plastic on, which gives it a long lip right there, so I can just, and I've made enough room so I can plug in my micro USB cable to Betaflight, and I can just sit my battery on top right there, smack in the middle, and just put my bit of Velcro over, like so. And it's nice and secure there. It's not going to drop out, and it's not going to pop out in a crash. I've also changed the wire to 20 gauge wire. Yes, I know that's quite thick, and it was really difficult to solder to the board. It was that thick. I was a bit scared. My hands weren't shaking, but though, just be careful. You don't need to use 20 gauge wire. Okay, you could use 22 or something like that, honestly. And I did put a bit of sugar after that there, just in case. I like to be safe. And I would sugar just about every wire you can find on this board. Not the motor wires, okay? Not the motor wires. And saying that also, the camera, I put a little bit of tape under the camera, because when you put it at max tilt, the camera touches the board, and you don't want anything to short out. Make sure the wires are nice and clean and tidy, and they're not underneath the camera, and they're out of the way of the prop as well. And to raise the whole camera off the board, to make it all sit nice, I used little red silicone O-rings. I've had them for years when I was flying micro helis. I've got 3 at each side and 2 at the back, and the screws that I used were screws that were sitting at the back of the UR65. You can also get them from the UK and US 65 and the Snapper 6. You do have 1 or 2 that comes in the pack. It's the very, very long screws. You want to use the long screws for the side and a smaller screw for the back. But I tell you one thing, it's quite difficult to get that all together. if you get big hands, you're going to have a problem. That's all I did, and that's all the modifications I've did. And let me just plug it in to show you that it's going. There you go, absolutely perfect. And I've flown it in the house, it flies absolutely fine. I can't fly it outside because we have had major storms here for the past couple of days. At 40 mph winds, 90% chance of rain. It's been unbelievable. That is how I've modded the Mobula7. It's really easy. If you get a 3D printer, of course, you'll be able to print something out to raise up the camera from the board. But until then, if you can get a hold of little O-rings and use those screws that I've been talking about, you can buy extra screws from banggood.com. They come in bags. I'll put a link in the description. It's just the long ones. And like I said, 3 on each side. That does the trick. 2 at the back. And I'll tell you one thing, this thing sits on there. It's absolutely solid. In a crash, it's going to hold up really well. I am going to move these antennas out of the way though. What I'm going to do is I'm probably going to open it up again and pop them around the side of the frame or something. But that's everything. That's how easy it is to mod your Mobula7 onto the Betafpv 75mm frame, and it flies quite fine indoors. Yet to test it in acro mode outdoors, and the battery itself is a 2-cell 300 mAh battery, and it's 70 to 90C burst. It didn't come with a XG30 plug on it, it came with a JST plug. I had to solder that on as well. I picked up 3 of them. Let's hope that they're okay. I don't see me getting much flight time out of it because we're running 200 milliamps short. But let's see how things go. I might just put a little flight in inside the house and let you see how it is. But until the weather gets better here, I'm afraid to say I can't test it in acro mode outside. So you'll just need to be patient and keep your fingers crossed. But thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to check the link in the description below to where you can pick the Mobula7 up. It really is a great quadcopter, even in its stock form, but that frame is just a bit lacklustre and I don't like the wires, and I do believe you should run it on a 2-cell battery and not 2 single 1-cell batteries. That's just my opinion. And I'll put a link in the description to everything else, okay? So thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, my friends, happy flying. What a mess here. You're going to come clean it up for me. Bye.